In a hypothetical matchup that pits the storied greatest generation against the modern technological marvels of the 21st century U.S. military, we explore an intriguing question. How would the U.S. military of 1941 fare against the formidable forces of today? A historical perspective. The year 1941 saw a dramatic expansion of the U.S. military, driven largely by the onset of World War II and the implementation of the Selective Training and Service Act of 1940. This period marked a significant ramp-up from a peacetime force of 269,000 to a wartime powerhouse of over 1.46 million active duty members by the end of the year. This expansion was necessary as America prepared to engage with Axis powers, demonstrating a massive mobilization of manpower through the draft. Today's technological titans. Contrast that with the modern-day U.S. military which, according to Global Firepower and Statista, has a more modest count of active personnel, about 460,000 in the Army, but boasts far more advanced technology and capabilities. The increase in technology and the shift towards more specialized and technologically driven warfare means fewer personnel are required compared to the mass army formations of the early 20th century. Comparing the numbers. When it comes to pure numbers, the Army of 1941 dwarfs today's military in terms of active personnel. However, these figures can be deceiving as today's military strategy and technology significantly reduce the need for such large numbers. Modern military engagements rely more on precision, intelligence, and technological superiority than on sheer numbers. Technological superiority, then versus now. Nowhere is the technological gap more evident than in the equipment and weapon systems used by the military. For instance, the standard issue rifle in 1941, the M1 Garand, was a revolutionary self-loading rifle at the time. Today, the M4 carbine, potentially being replaced by the XM7, offers significant improvements in terms of weight, firing rate, and versatility in combat scenarios. The naval and air forces tell a similar story. While the Navy of 1941 had more ships, the technological sophistication of today's Navy means each vessel is far more capable. Aircraft like the F-16 outclass the fighters of 1941 like the P-40 Warhawk in almost every conceivable way. Submarine warfare, a study in advancement. The comparison of submarine classes further illustrates this point. The Gatto-class submarines of 1941, though formidable in their day, are outclassed by modern nuclear-powered submarines such as the Los Angeles class, which boasts advanced radar, sonar, and armaments that could engage enemies far beyond visual range. The nuclear factor. Perhaps the most stark difference lies in the capabilities of nuclear warfare. In 1941, the concept of a nuclear weapon was barely conceivable, and it wasn't until 1945 that the U.S. would test and subsequently use such weapons in combat. In stark contrast, today's military has a significant nuclear arsenal at its disposal, capable of being deployed from land, sea, and air. Conclusion. While the U.S. Army of 1941 had the advantage in terms of manpower, the U.S. military of 2024 surpasses it in virtually every other aspect due to technological advancements. This hypothetical matchup not only highlights the evolution of military technology, but also underscores the changing nature of warfare where quality increasingly trumps quantity. In the final analysis, the military of 2024 would likely prevail overwhelmingly, not just through superior technology but also through the strategic use of its modern capabilities.